What is up? Good rising and happy Monday. Welcome to Mondays with Muffy. It is me. I'm back after 3 weeks off. Listen, life was lifing, and then also just things were happening. Like I was just living life, and I was like, I just cannot go live on Mondays at this point. So, but I'm back, so we're not going to talk about me not being here. We're going to talk about the fact that I am here now. So, happy Monday, y'all. We are officially in the thick of summer. It is beautiful outside, finally here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I don't know where you may be greeting me from. So tell me in the comments, how is your Monday going? How are you feeling this Monday? This Monday, I'm like, meh, but good. Like right on the cusp of like, but I feel pretty good. Um, I had a pretty decent weekend. Have some friends and family members in from out of town. Um, got a chance to. So what I'm really excited about right now is really exploring some things that I haven't had a chance to explore in a long time. So this weekend, my sister, best friend, is in town, and her daughter stayed at my house over the weekend. And so I woke up on Saturday morning and I was like determined because I went and found my old camera, and I was like, I'm going to go out and take some pictures. So I asked her daughters if they wanted to go with me, and we went down to the point and I took pictures of them. And I was so excited because it's been a long time since I picked up my camera. I actually majored in photography in college for the first 2 years, and then I switched to print journalism. And I was like, I really want to get back into photography in some way. I loved doing photography, but then my professors, well, not even my professors, it probably wasn't my professor, it was probably one of my peers, because you know what happens when you listen to the people around you. They was like, you're not going to make no money as a photographer, you should just go into print. So I did, and you're not going to be able to find a job. So I did, but I have a portfolio of work as a photographer, that I've never done anything with. And then on top of that, I just love taking photos. So I'm getting back into photography. So this weekend I went out to the park, took some pictures of my nieces, and then also just enjoyed myself taking some pictures. So that's what I did. Well, and then my sister is in town, so I've been kikiing with her all weekend, and that's been always fun. Um, and yeah, just this weekend was real chill, relaxed. What did y'all do this weekend? I know there was a lot. Actually, so when we were downtown taking pictures, because I was at the point, and I was like, well, let's just walk over to Market Square, get some water, get something to eat, because I was going to take them to get ice cream, and walk dead smack into the middle of the international festival that I had no idea even happens in Pittsburgh, and it was pretty dope. Ended up buying some earrings and some shirts, and bought some stuff from all the folks. But everybody was represented down there: Costa Rica, Jamaica. They had a parade, Indonesia. Like I was like, oh, this is dope. I need to keep this on my radar because it was actually a pretty great experience, and there was some bomb food down there. So I don't know if y'all know about the international festival, because I had no idea. Mayor Gainey was down there. I seen the mayor of Rankin, Jolisa, was down there. Olga from that used to be at KDKA was the host. So it was actually pretty dope. I was like, I'm glad I ran into this. I will keep this on my radar from now on. So I really had a chill weekend, but with some glimpses of greatness. Glimpses of greatness. I like that. I'm keeping it. So it was a good weekend. How was your weekend? I hope you had an awesome one. I do have a little bit of news. So, one of the great things that happened late last week was that we had a sponsor come through for Brown Mama's weekend that has enabled us to cut down our prices, to basically slash our prices to damn near half. So that's going to be pretty dope. I'm going to do a reel about it in the Brown Mamas group tomorrow. But if you are somebody who is thinking about attending Brown Mamas weekend, it's a really great time to get your tickets, because due to a generous sponsorship, we've been able to cut the prices down to almost half. So I'm really excited about that. This is my first time doing this event like this. Y'all know I've done the Brown Mama monologues every year for the last 6, 7 years. I don't know if it's been 6, 7 years, because when we had the pandemic, that threw my numbers all off. But this is our first time doing a Brown Mamas weekend event. That's a 2-day event. focused on celebrating Black motherhood, where we're combining the Brown Mama monologues with our Wound, Wealth, and Wellness Summit. And I'm really excited about doing that. But uncharted territory, because I've never done a 2-day event before. And so I was really excited that we had a sponsor that came through that is enabling us to slash those prices and hopefully get more people in the door, make it more accessible to more folks. But I'm going to definitely do a video about that tomorrow in the Brown Mamas group. Plus, I'm going to post about it today in the Brown Mamas group. Tamara might have already posted about it in the Brown Mamas group. So, but yeah, I'm doing well. 2 weeks ago, I celebrated my 16-year anniversary. Flies. That's the only thing about the summertime. The flies be in the house. 2 weeks ago, I celebrated my 16-year anniversary. Me and my husband. So that was a good time. We had a really great weekend. We ended up going to the Pride Festival to go see Tamar. I don't know if y'all like Tamar Braxton. I love Tamar Braxton, and it was a good time. Let me tell y'all, it was a good time. My husband was not ready for the Pride Festival. This is what I will say. He was not ready for it. But we really enjoyed ourselves, and it was a free concert, which I'm so excited to see free concerts happening in Pittsburgh, because every other city you go to, there's always, actually next week in Baltimore, I'm going to a free concert. It's going to be Alex Asley, Busta Rhymes. Who else is going to be there? October London. And it was like 3 other artists. I can't remember who they were. They might have been young people. But if you're outside of Pittsburgh, there's free concerts all the time, everywhere. So I'm just glad to see that Pittsburgh is getting onto the free concerts for Black folks. Bandwagon, because we be needing stuff to do. And I'm not necessarily the club person. Like, I like a good festival. I like a good lounge. I like a good where I'm gonna be able to post up, relax, and there's not gonna be no pressure. Plus, I don't want to be in the dark with y'all because foolishness be happening in the dark. So I need lights. So that's all I'm saying. So I was really excited to be able to go see Tamar in the park 2 weekends ago. And it was just, it was a grown folks vibe. I like it. I'm a grown folks vibe type person. I need grown folks vibes. I'm not really interested in the shenanigans. So that was really enjoyable. But I've basically been off the last 3 weeks because I've just been living life. And like I told y'all, Mondays with Muffy for me is playful. It is joy. It is, you know, it's my opportunity to communicate. Jupiter is in Gemini, so I'll probably be here for at least a good 6-7 weeks. Well, I don't know how long Jupiter stays in Gemini. I think it's like a year actually. But Jupiter is in Gemini, so communication is wide open. So I am here. I am communicating. I am loving it today. Next week I'll probably be here too, because I actually have interviews scheduled for like the next 4 weeks. So that means I'll be here, because if the people is already scheduled, that means I'll be here. Today we're going to be interviewing. So y'all know that I'm into all the things. I love numerology. I love astrology. I love tarot. I still love my Bible as well. But so there's this thing. It's called human design. Let me look it up, because I don't know exactly. I know what it is, but I don't exactly know how it like focuses everything, like how it focuses all of the cosmos to be able to interpret personalities, interactions, things like that. But I came across a woman a few years back, and she was like, you should let me, read you with human design, because I'm always posting about the numerology and the astrology of things. And so I did, and she was like on point. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. So she is going to be coming on later on and doing an interview with me about human design and how it works. Because now a lot of workplaces are even integrating human design into what they do. Because I guess because they scared of numerology and astrology. Because at the end of the day, all of these things, I am 100% positive, are using elements from numerology, astrology, all those things to create something that is more mainstream that people won't be scared of, I guess. So yeah, she's going to be coming on later, and we're going to be interviewing with her about human design. What is it? How did they come up with it? I'm going to ask her to tell y'all a little bit about my chart, so y'all can see that it is legit. Well, I really don't care if y'all think it's legit or not. If you think it's legit, you do it. If you don't, then go do whatever works for you. Whatever makes you happy. I'm happy to see you do what makes you happy. Hopefully you're happy to see me do what makes me happy too. And so that's what's coming up later on in the show. And okay, so what are we talking about this week? So yesterday I came across a video that was very interesting, and me and my friend kikied about it a little bit. So y'all know it's wedding season. My anniversary was 2 weeks ago. It's wedding season, so everybody's going to the weddings, single, married, in between, poly. Everybody's going. Everybody's at the weddings. So there was a video of James Harden at the wedding with his girlfriend, and the girl caught the bouquet. So I'm gonna play the video for y'all, and then we're gonna talk about it. Let's see. All right, so here's the video. Hopefully, y'all can see my screen. Okay. And they're like highlighting his face. So that was actually his girlfriend. He was at this wedding. That's James Harden. I don't know what team he played for. Y'all know I don't do the sports. I don't know anything about that. I know this man plays sports and he got that big ass beard. That's what I know about him. And he's famous. And so this is the picture. That's the close up of my brother's face. So as you can see, oh wait, is it big enough? Hopefully y'all can see it. I'm gonna show it to y'all again because I feel like maybe you can't see it on that little screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna play the video for y'all one more again, so you can see. Okay, and that's his face after he got the bouquet. So yeah, because when I watched it, I was just kind of like, sis, you might have wanted to step back from the bouquet. Because I'm just saying, it didn't look like it doesn't. So that is his girlfriend, but judging by his initial face, because sometimes I'm a Sag, so my face, look, I don't have no ability to hide my initial reactions, even though my initial reaction may not necessarily be how I feel later. But in the moment, if something happens, look at me. Because if you look at me and you're thinking what I'm thinking, you're going to be able to see what you're thinking on my face because I don't have the ability to hide my face. The best I can do is just cover my face because my face tells all. And so I don't know if James Harden is that same type of person where his initial reactions are just exactly what is in his head. But to me, it looked like maybe sis should have stepped back from the bouquet. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that if you are at a wedding with someone who you are not 100% sure is in it to commit to it, then maybe if you're going to weddings this wedding season, you may want to either not sign up for the bouquet throwing and catching of things, or you you may want to delay your reaction because it did not look from his face that he was very happy about her catching the bouquet. And my husband just said he has a history of being non-committal. He is strip club famous as well. He frequents all top strip clubs in the country. So therefore, thank you for that, honey. So therefore, my question for sis is why would you catch the bouquet? Why would you put yourself in said predicament? Because now this is also a woman who is very active on social media. Because I had to do the research. I went and I checked her social media, and she's already posted on her social media about being at the wedding and all of these things. And she has not said that she's looking for a commitment, though. So maybe, I'm just saying, if a person is non committal, the worst thing in the world you can do if you want to maintain a romantic relationship with them is try to force them into any type of constraints that is going to make them feel as if you have a expectation of them that is not what their expectation is. So I'm just saying that sis might have caught the bouquet and lost the bag at the exact same time because his face. Look, Francis says she's trying to put the hook on him. I feel like in that moment he felt like she was trying to put the hook on him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's smart, he'll wait at least 2 weeks because everybody will forget about this in 2 weeks. But if he's not, if I was her, I would have dropped the bouquet. That's all I'm saying. I would have caught it and dropped it. As soon as I caught it, I would have dropped it. And then I would have walked away off to the other side and acted as if I never caught it in the first damn place. Because sometimes if you're in the behind the person, behind the bride, and it just comes to you and you just catch it, but you can just let it fall. And that's what I probably would have done. Because it was, as my husband said, he has a history of being non-committal. And I think he may have just uncommitted himself to that young lady. And what was her name? Here, I'm supposed to stop sharing. Okay. Let me see what her name was. Well, I can't find it now. So yeah, that was just a really interesting, because I said it's wedding season, so I know everybody's going to weddings and whatnot. And I said this was a very, it was very interesting because I kind of felt I could feel him feeling as if she wasn't supposed to do that. And she knew she wasn't supposed to do it. Well, that's why she turned around and hugged him, because she's probably like, "Oh shit, let me check in with my dude." So yeah. So if you just came on, we were talking about James Harden and his girlfriend catching the bouquet, and that was his face when he caught the bouquet. She caught the bouquet. So single sisters, if you are out and about at weddings, I'm just saying, before you catch the bouquet, make sure that you're in a situationship that has the expectation that it is going to the next level, because you don't want your man to be looking at you like that when you catch the bouquet that time. So it's just a really interesting story. Would love to hear y'all's thoughts on it. What do you think about, you know, catching the bouquet as a single woman? Is that something that you're ready to, like, risk if your relationship hasn't gone to the next level? Or do you think it's just playful? Because it could have just been playful, like, I don't have no expectations of you. You don't have any expectations of me. This is just a funny time that we'll laugh about later. Because it could absolutely be that. But judging by his face, I kind of felt like, maybe not. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know if y'all know. Now this is a little bit more serious. I don't know if you all know about what's happening with the Fearless Fund, but I've been following this case because it is a case that centers organizations that work specifically with Black women. And y'all know Brown Mamas is my organization, and it works specifically, almost very unapologetically, for Black women. And what's happening with the Fearless Fund case has been, like, at the top of my mind. I've been following all of the developments, following Ariana Simone as she travels the country trying to garner support for her organization. And it's just been really interesting watching the development. So basically, she had appealed. Look, I'm gonna read this to y'all because, look, I be wanting to not get the things wrong. But this Mr. Bloom man and his organization, I think it was called like American Progressives or some shit like that, and they went and sued the Fearless Fund for giving out grants only to Black women, claiming that it is racist and claiming that it is against our laws. And so the Fearless Fund, of course, appealed this case. And it so happens that on June 3rd, last week, that's actually was my aunt's birthday, they actually struck it down. So they basically are saying now that, I'm going to read it to y'all. A U.S. Federal Court of Appeals panel suspended a venture capital firm's grant program for Black women business owners, ruling that a conservative group is likely to prevail in lawsuit claiming that the program is discriminatory. The ruling against the Atlanta-based Fearless Fund is another victory for conservative groups waging a sprawling legal battle against corporate diversity programs that have targeted dozens of companies and government institutions. The other one that they targeted was also Hello Alice, which is, if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably familiar. They are a platform that basically galvanizes tons of grants for minorities in one place, so that you can be able to go there and apply for a bunch of grants. Hello Alice was one of the organizations that was targeted, but also when we're talking on a grander scale, all of these diversity programs within corporate America have been challenged, which is causing a lot of corporations to actually pull out of these grant programs. So, you have Goldman Sachs, you have not the Forbes Fund, Goldman Sachs is one of them. Forbes is one of them that now has their own. When all of this stuff was happening during the pandemic with the Black Lives Matter movement and everything, a bunch of corporations started these diversity programs that were giving grants to Black businesses, to Black nonprofits and whatnot. And now they're striking them all down. And so with the Fearless Fund being basically they were basically made into like the what do you call, what's the word I want to use, they were made into like they were making an example out of them. And so now with theirs being struck down, it's going to open up room for all of these other ones to be struck down, to basically get rid of all of these funds that are focusing on Black women, on Black people, on Hispanic people, on women, and basically calling them all unconstitutional. And I think we need to pay really close attention to this case because so many Black folks, this is what Black women do in particular. For many of us, this is how we make our money, is by helping the other Black women in our community. And now we're getting to a point where it's basically going to be illegal for us to do so. Because I even know with Brown Mamas, we have some changes coming down the pipeline, and just having to really think about, do we want to still continue to explicitly say that we target Black women as a part of the work that we do? And so this is, I think we just need to continue following this because these people are not stopping anytime soon. In fact, Mr. Bloom was quoted as saying programs that exclude certain individuals because of their race, such as the ones of the Fearless Fund, have been designed and implemented to be unjust and polarizing. And so these people are absolutely prevailing in this, and we need to pay very, very close attention to what's happening with this case, because it's going to affect not only us, but it's going to affect our children and our children's ability to basically, solve our problems in the future, because that's what we're essentially looking to do. Is Black folks are just trying to solve other Black folks' problems by being solutions. And what the Fearless Fund was doing was they were going to all of these corporations and getting them to implement, you know, getting them to basically give portions of their funds to Black owned businesses so that we could, in essence, have reparations to be able to go into our communities and start businesses. And we already know that Black businesses are less likely to be funded. We already know that we struggle with raising capital. We already know that we struggle with having a consistent customer base, because we are oftentimes selling products and services to our community members who are also struggling with finances and economics and home ownership and all that time, and don't necessarily have the capital to spend within our businesses. At least I know that that is the case in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where a huge percentage of the population of Black folks here in Pittsburgh are living in poverty. And so when we start businesses, oftentimes we need those subsidies. We need the extra educational opportunities, because a lot of times with these funds that Black women are getting with organizations like the Fearless Fund, it's not just coming with money. It's coming with mentorship. It's coming with capacity building for the organization. It's coming with an opportunity to spread the word about your business to a broader audience. And so without these types of incubator-like organizations and capital fundraising organizations, where are Black businesses going to be? And we already know that Black folks own less than 1% of the gross domestic product in our country, which means we own less than 1% of the profit of our country. And so we really have to begin to support these initiatives. One of the things you can do is to become a Fearless Fund donor. So you can go on their website, which is, I think it's just fearlessfund.org. I'm about to tell you. Their website is www.fearless.fund. So you can go to their website, and if you can click the banner at the top of their page that says ways to support, you can buy their merch, you can donate to the foundation, you can become a consistent donator to the foundation, you can absolutely, get involved politically by calling your congressman and requesting that the Fearless Freedom Civil Rights Act be passed, because Ariane Simone is in the process of trying to get this. Well, she already tried to appeal it and they struck it down. So it is what it is. But I say the best way to support them is to put your money where your mouth is. If you have, even, it doesn't have to be a ton of money. Like if you can donate $10 a month to them, that can be very helpful, especially if you can get if thousands and thousands of people are donating money, because all this money is going back into our communities and going back into the livelihoods of the people who are a part of our community. So just keep this one on your radar if possible. Go to fearless.fund and donate if you can. And just know what's going on with these types of cases, because if you are a business owner who is specifically targeting Black folks, Black women, Black men, Black children, this is something that is going to affect us for years to come. So, yep, that's that. I just wanted to put that on y'all's radar. We are waiting for Janine to talk to us about human design. I'm going to check in with her and see where she at. But in the meantime, what else can we talk about? Let me see. So in the meantime, I can tell y'all more about brown mama. Well, no, that's what I was going to talk to y'all about. So y'all know I work out all the time. Well, I work out every day. And I say that lightly because I'm not a person who like does strenuous workouts. That's not me. But I do 20 minutes of working out every day. And something I recently realized, because I've been doing it, like I'm so proud of myself. I've been working out for at least 20 minutes a day for at least probably about a year and a half now. And realizing that when I first started working out was like self-care for me, because it was a way for me to like get my mind clear. It was a way for me to like prove to myself that I could take care of myself. But now, since I've been working out for a while, I kind of feel like working out for me is now moving into the realm of like maintenance more so than like self-care. So it's time for me to like up level my self-care experience and figure out what else I can do for self-care. And that's probably one of the most interesting things for me about the self-care journey is like the levels to it. Like there's so many levels to self-care and how we take care of ourselves, and recognizing that once you have one self-care thing that you're doing, whether it be going to go, like I started getting my nails done like 2 years ago consistently, and now even that is moving into the realm of like maintenance for me. It's no longer like the thing I do to feel good about myself, because now it is a part of my routine. And so I feel like once something like becomes a part of your routine and it's no longer like feeding you on a nourishing level, you kind of have to put it into an area of like maintenance. I do this for maintenance for myself. And then you have to put something else in that slot in order for you to have something that's like actually feeding you mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And working out does feed me like physically, because it's keeping my body in shape. And you already know, once you get to a certain age, this body starts to do extraordinary, underwhelming things is what it starts to do. Not extraordinary. It starts to do very underwhelming things. And am I in the right studio? Let me see. And you have to do more and more to keep it doing what it needs to do. And so right now, I'm like, now I need to really start doing more things that are actually going to help me. Oh, because I'm in the wrong studio. My guest is having a hard time finding me because I'm in the wrong studio. Let me send her the correct link. So I use StreamYard to do my lives. And when I do them, I sent her the wrong link. Darn it. I was wondering why, because look, I talked to this woman earlier today, and I know she was excited because she sent me a message, and she was like, "I can't wait." So I'm like, oh, something's not right because it's 10:30. She was supposed to be on here at 10:30. So hopefully she gets it. Or I might have to end this one and then go over there and do the interview. Because I don't want to confuse her. So I'm going to give her like 3 minutes. But so now I'm kind of looking for what I'm going to add into my self-care experience. So every morning, basically what I do is I work out. I do 2 workout videos that are 10 minutes each, and then I go walk. And now my walk, that's definitely something that is like high up on my priority list because it gives me a chance to just hear my thoughts in the morning and really get into like really know what I want to be grateful for that day, but also to know what I need to hear from myself. Here, let me send this to her. Oh, Jesus. I hope she come over here. I did it all wrong. Okay, so hopefully she comes over. Hopefully she sees the message. Sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties. And with Jupiter and Gemini, it's easy to have technical difficulties. Because when Jupiter is in Gemini, actually communication can get very messy. And that's what I'm dealing with right now, messy communication. Oh, well, at least Kira's here. Kira, I need you to come save my video. I sent the wrong link to my interview person. Come save my video. Go get a chair so you can talk to me on my video while we wait for Janine. So I told y'all my sister is here. So we're just going to kiki with y'all until Janine comes, and hopefully she gets my message so we can talk about human design. I sent her the wrong link, and now I'm trying to get her the right link, but she might not see it. You don't need to get over here. Just get a chair and come over here.
Oh, I thought you said go share.
No. Okay, so Kira can tell y'all about African Arts in the Park because she's doing, well, I don't know where y'all are from on here because only comments I see is from Francis, Mikkel, and Jasmine. Jasmine looked like she's from somewhere else. I don't think that's a Pittsburgh person. But Kira is doing African Arts in the Park in Tampa, and she can tell y'all a little bit about African Arts in the Park in Tampa. Here, let me move over. Saved by the Bell. Look. So this is my best friend and my sister, Kira Washington. If you don't know her, if you're from Pittsburgh, you probably already know her. So Kira, tell us about African Arts in the Park and what you're doing with African Arts in the Park in Tampa.
Absolutely. So, hello, everybody. African Arts in the Park is a cultural celebration of the African diaspora. And so, what we do at African Arts in the Park is we break it up into elements so that the whole family can enjoy. So, this year, African Arts in the Park will be hosted down in Tampa, Florida. And it is going to be an amazing 2-day event happening at Perry Harvey Park. We are looking to have some amazing African drummers, dancers, over 200 vendors. We are looking to have a lot of people just come out and share in this free festival that they can enjoy. And again, it's all focused on the African diaspora. So we are looking to celebrate and educate at the same time. So if you are in Tampa, come on out. If you plan to go to Tampa, September 14th and 15th would be the best time to get down there. It's a 2-day event. Make a weekend out of it. Decide to say, hey, I'm gonna come down Friday. I'm gonna stay Saturday, Sunday, leave Monday. You can catch a Spirit flight for like $100 and have an amazing time. So come on down. And if you don't want to come down, guess what? We're going to do this again next year. Right. So then what you could do is you could take the opportunity to come out next year and enjoy the same amazing festival. So,
and I'll be there. I'm definitely going to be in Tampa enjoying the African Arts in the Park Festival. I'm excited about it. You know what we can talk about?
What?
Let's talk about you moving to Tampa. Yes. Because, okay, so y'all know I be wanting to move. I always be wanting to move. Every other week I be wanting to move. But the scariest thing for me is moving with my family.
Mhm.
Like moving with when you got multiple children
Yeah.
that have multiple needs at multiple ages.
Mhm.
So when you decided to move your family, because Kira's originally from Pittsburgh, when you decided to move your family from Pittsburgh to Tampa, like what were some of the things you had to consider?
I had to consider, first of all, I had to consider if my family was mentally ready. You know, it's easy to pick up and move, but it's not easy to leave back family, friends, loved ones, school, you know, because some kids are attached to their school. So the hardest thing for me was to make sure that my kids were ready. Once I found out that they were ready, picking a location was easy. I already knew I wanted somewhere sunny. I knew I didn't want nowhere where I love the hood and I love my hood folks, but I wanted to move somewhere safe. So those were some of the biggest things on my checklist. But the schools, and if anybody know anything about the Florida education system, it's not as amazing as
well, Pittsburgh ain't amazing.
Well,
but you know,
right. Well, it's not, you know, it's not the greatest. But navigating through Florida education system is not really difficult. You really got to, education is at home for real, for real.
That's
so
the truth.
The biggest thing is you have to just make sure that your children are obtaining, that they're learning. So once I got on board with that, I was like, oh, I'm ready to go. And it's still a little, I still miss my family, of course, and I still miss my friends, but the realest thing about it was that was the best decision I ever made for my family. The best decision, because the culture is different. The atmosphere is different. Not having to shovel snow. And then I seen a change in my children. I seen a change in my marriage. I seen a change just in folks around me. Again, I still miss my bestie, of course, but it is what it is. I mean, I can carry a long distance relationship. I had to make this choice for my family. I wish it was just for me, but it wasn't. Right. But besides
the weather, what was like for you? What has been the major thing that you've seen a difference in terms of your life moving to Tampa?
Culture, being able to find a lot of businesses, or actually being able to thrive as a nonprofit. I just started a nonprofit organization and I did not think it was capable for me. You know what I mean? Like I thought I was going to be able to just be in a 9 to 5 and be okay. Not that I couldn't start a nonprofit up here, but the element in Florida, the different cultures, the ease of talking to people and getting some significant information made a huge difference for me. Because
in Pittsburgh, people don't be trying to share.
No, it's don't. Like let's everybody's holding it like this. And when I got down there, I had a lot of people that was like, no, do this. You can get in contact with this. You need to go and join these chambers of commerce. So it became a little easier for me. Just the culture down there is just amazing. So, girl, I recommend anybody to go to Florida.
And a lot of people be like, you know, because of what's his name? What's the governor's name?
Oh, DeSantis.
Because of DeSantis, people be like, no, don't move down there. It's racist, whatever. Every time I've come down, I've never experienced that when I've come to visit. But how do you respond to that when people say that?
It is what you make it, really, because it doesn't just start and stop with DeSantis, really. What I realized is him taking the education out of schools didn't do anything that lacked my family.
Like the Black culture.
Right. Because I always teach my children cultural education. Him deciding to say, hey, we're taking Hispanics and we're doing X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. I teach my children the way I feel like that they should enter into this world. You know, we're not holding anything against anybody. We treat everybody, you know, the same, So nothing that DeSantis has done has affected me. Now, the more effect that I get comes from the raising of the insurance on homes and stuff like that. But all of that DeSantis is doing, it doesn't affect me. You got to be confident. You got to be strong in who you are, who your family is, and what you want navigating through the systems. I'm advocating for my special needs daughter, and I have not had any block or any stepping stone that has blocked me with any of the laws and rules that he has put into place. So really, you're affected by what you allow to affect you. The reality is there's far too many people of color in Florida and too many different diverse groups to be stopped. If you could, you know, read in between the lines, you know what I mean, to be stopped. I think that it won't affect you as long as you don't let it.
Right.
Florida is meant for the working and high class. So as long as you can just navigate through that, you ain't got to work on that.
Okay, and then one last question. In terms of like the cost of living, because I feel like when it comes to especially Pittsburgh people, number one, in Pittsburgh, and this is somebody who lived in New York City and then moved back to Pittsburgh. I'm a native of Pittsburgh, but we don't realize how low the cost of living is here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't realize, like, it's sometimes difficult for me to hear people talk about, like, oh, people in Pittsburgh don't have anything. I'm like, y'all ain't seen people not have nothing. Y'all have not, Pittsburgh poor people have not really experienced poverty, because you can go get food stamps, you can go get diapers, you can go, everything you need, there is a program for it in Pittsburgh. When you go to other cities, it is not like that. Those things do not exist.
Mm-hmm.
So Pittsburgh has huge accessibility issues. It does not have resource issues.
Right.
There is sometimes lack of access, lack of knowledge. People don't know how things connect.
Mm-hmm.
But when you went to Tampa, when you moved to Tampa, how did you handle the increase in the cost of living?
I think the adjustment was a little easier because when you go to when I went into the corporate world, everything was adjusted to the heightened increase of work.
Mm-hmm.
However, we have no state taxes in Florida, even though they make up for it in other areas. It's not a hit over the head immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They also get a lot of cushioned taxes because we have hurricane season, we have back to school, we have all of these different things that they give us considered a tax credit, and so that helps balance out. But also you have to really consider, especially moving, what is important? Is the area important? Is the schools important? Because that also plays a part in what you're spending.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere in Florida is expensive.
Right.
Everywhere. But the reality of it is you got to kind of balance out. Florida is a resort state.
Mm-hmm.
It was also where the elders go to retire. So the biggest thing about Florida is you're paying for the tourists. You know what I mean? You're offsetting that for tourism. What areas do you want to live in? Do you want to live in an area with an HOA? All of those play a part. And if you can balance, I think you'll be fine. Because remote jobs, I think, will accommodate, with city and state that you're moving in and things of that sort. And like I said, because there is no state tax, a lot of people is fine overhead. The state tax just comes back when you go to file your taxes and you like, oh, I want to file for state and federal, and you ain't get no state. So that's the only difference. But it being my first time moving out of Pennsylvania, I adjusted very, very easily.
Well.
Yeah, it wasn't a hard bite. It wasn't a hard bite at all.
Okay. Thank you for sharing this. Yeah. Don't forget to go to African. What's the website?
www.
I'm gonna put it up here real quick.
AAIP Tampa. www.AAIPTampa.com and look around. Go ahead and like our social media pages and come on out. Again, it's September 14th and 15th.
Mm-hmm.
September 14th and 15th. That's a Saturday and Sunday. And come on down. You'll have an amazing time. And then stop in and say, "What's up, Kay? I'm from the Berg," and I'll shout you out.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all. Love y'all.
Do you want to say or you want to go?
I got to check on my baby.
Okay, go check on your baby. Thank you, boo. I appreciate you. Okay. All right. So Janine is here. Sorry, Janine. Let me put you on the screen. Janine is here. We're going to be talking to her about human design. Like I said, y'all know I'm into all the things. I love all the things. And so Janine is also a person who loves all the things, all the numerology and astrology and things like that. And a few years ago, she introduced me to human design. And I was like, I have no idea what this is, but it seems pretty accurate. Hey, Janine.
Hi there, Muffy. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm great. It's so good to see you.
Nice to see you too. Sorry about the technical difficulty.
No worries. I always like to make a dramatic entrance. So.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So tell us about your journey with what is human design, and tell us about your journey with it.
Yeah, it's a lot. And when I first discovered it, I had a similar reaction to you. So you're not alone, and that's mostly how everybody experiences it. So human design is a spiritual awakening tool. It's an extraordinarily powerful personal development tool that you can use to understand how your body uniquely was designed to receive and process energy. We also call it the science of differentiation, and that really is revealed to us so specifically about how we are very unique from one another. And it compiles so many teachings from ancient wisdom to modern day science to give us what you see in human design, which comes out as your human design chart, which is like the image of what we call a body graph. And so it incorporates Western astrology, all the things that we love: astrology, the I Ching, which is the ancient Chinese, like thousands of year old divination tool that
I
translates to
know. I
the
want to learn that one.
Book of
Somebody else told me
Changes.
about that. Okay, good.
It's very well. Human design incorporates all of that, so
Mhm.
that's a piece of the puzzle. So yeah, Western astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah tree of life. It also incorporates the chakra system and quantum physics. So it's all about neutrinos and the movement of energy between you and me
Right.
right now, and the vibe we're creating, and then when we're in the presence of other people and how they experience us energetically, even though it's not like overt or super conscientious to us. um,
Mhm.
there, you know when you walk in a room and the vibe changes, or when someone else enters your space, and the
And I think it
feeling.
depends on how in tune you are, because I think you do. You can feel it very overtly if you are a person who is in touch with how you feel and is in touch with how your energy is. Like if you know what the baseline of your energy is, when somebody else comes into your sphere, you do feel the energetic exchange between the two of you.
Absolutely. And there's so much happening that we are exchanging. I mean, there's a huge piece of this human design wisdom that shows you on your chart this image of your body graph that gets plopped up when you type in your birth details about what time you were born and what city you were born in. It shows you where you're absorbing other people's energy and where you are actually
Mhm.
broadcasting it from your body and putting it out there for other people to absorb and amplify. So it's just totally fascinating, and there's a million different rabbit holes you can go down. And I think when I first discovered it, like you said, it was like, what is this? It looks like science. It sounds like math. It's just there's too many things. I don't
Right.
like either of those things. So I was like, I just want to hear about my astrology. But when I really it took a while. Probably it was orbiting around my awareness for a couple of years
Mhm.
until I heard somebody describe the 5 types of people that there are in the world, as far as how we are hardwired to receive and give off energy. And so once I heard that description, and I was like, wait a second, let me go pull my chart again. And I went to some website and I looked at my chart, and I listened again to this woman's podcast 3 times over, and I thought, no, 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 no. And it was very confronting for me to look at my chart that tells me what my type is. And I'm listening to her, and I'm thinking, no, there's no way. There's no way. If what she says is right, I've been doing life wrong. And so it was very, like I said, very confronting to have to understand that, like, whoa, this this little image that looks like a chalk outline that they draw in Law and Order of a dead body
Mhm.
that got all these shapes in it, that you're telling me that that is essentially my potential, the potential that
Right.
I can live up to. But yet I was becoming aware that I wasn't living up to that.
Mhm.
And it it then sent me down a whole spiral of like, wow, you've got a lot of work to do. And so therein
Right.
comes the shadow work and the inner child healing, and the where did you get all of these limiting beliefs, and going back and reparenting and all the things. And so it's just fascinating
Right.
to be shown this about yourself. And so this is what I've been trying to do for clients, and it's wild. Like I taught preschool for the last year, and so I was able to use this in the classroom.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm working with children who haven't been who haven't been conditioned yet to believe that they're bad, or that they're wrong, or that they don't have shame yet. the way that so many of us grew up to believe that it was wrong to speak out loud to your, don't sass back to your parents. That was a big one for me. Like, that's what I'm born to do. And I learn it, look at my chart, and it says I'm basically
Right.
born to be a sass mouth. That and then I learned over the years to shut that off. You don't. Go ahead. You have a question. I can
I
see.
was going to say that one of the interesting things that I'm seeing is that I think why I started paying attention to human design was because I was seeing organizations and corporations using it. And that's where I was like, why are they using this but won't use like numerology and astrology? Well, openly, let me say, because
Right.
executives typically are using astrology and lawyers use astrology. We know folks, accountants, they all use astrology, but they've been much more open about using human design. Why do you think that that is?
There's a whole school that is in it's tangential to human design, but they've kind of re-given it new language, and they call it the
Mhm.
BG5. And it's a little bit more business speak. It's more accessible
Right,
to the person
right,
who has no interest in a spiritual awakening, who is not going to use this to go do
right. They're
shadow
using
work
it
on
for like
themselves.
persona and to know, yeah.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, it's way more accurate than the Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram or
Hmm,
DISC or any of those things. And you don't have to take a 30-minute survey. It's instantaneous. I mean, as
right,
far as understanding. And I will say, I see enormous potential for businesses and organizations to use this, but I caution the overuse of it, because what I don't want to see is an employer putting out any kind, using it to bias against people. Because, for example, I still have your chart from when I did your reading years ago. Your energy type is a generator, okay, and the generators type, which is the most common at about 37% of the population.
right.
Um,
Okay, good.
so right, and essentially, you are here to do the work that lights you up. Believe it or not, there's a big segment of the population who is not here to do that. Now, it is a big part of American culture and world culture that hustle, work hard, go after it,
Right,
push it, make it happen. For a lot of us, myself included, like, that is terrible advice. That is not how our energy is designed. And so when you put that into the corporate setting, and the hiring manager is like, go out and get me some generators. I want the people who are going to show up and do the hard work without questioning, because they have regenerative, sustainable life force energy. The more they do what they love, the more energy they get. They're yes people. They're doers. They're builders. They're creators. They're here to do the work. I would hate to see, like, that's awesome, great, but I would hate to see the other types that are maybe not hardwired for
right. So
copious,
what are all the types? Generator. So generator, you said, are the people that are here to do what lights them up.
do the work that lights you up. You are
Okay.
joy chasing, just mastery building, people who are here to burn off all kinds of energy. You're surging with
Mhm.
life force and vitality.
Hmm.
Except we see burnout really commonly,
Right.
because so many generators are overwhelmed with all the options and all the things you could potentially do.
Right.
Gosh, that you get really excited and you want to do that and you want to do
And you
that
want to
next.
do all the things, and then you
All
realize you cannot do all the things.
exactly, exactly. And so we see adrenal fatigue, and just you just crash, right? Like
So that's
everything.
37% of the population is generators.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's the other ones?
Okay, so the manifester is about 8% of the population, and that's what I
Mhm.
am. And these are people who we are the innovators and initiators. So we have frenetic, big creative ideas,
Mhm.
and we get energized by that. And we're here to inform the world that, like, hey, I have a great idea, or this is a great idea. Oh my God, you need to write that book. I'm going to go out here and write a play. We move from one creative urge to the next.
Right.
And that may look like we are completely altering our existence, that we are totally changing our costume every couple of years. And that has
I
been
feel
very
like that's me, but okay.
so we are characterized by surging with anger.
Oh, I'm
If,
not surging with anger though.
yeah, if we're using our energy wrong, we tend to get really angry, and all we really want out of life is to be left alone in peace, to be creative.
Oh, that's
When we get interrupted, we get really, really, really profoundly annoyed. For the generator, when the and you tell me if this tracks. I'm not here to tell you who you are, but what the generator is really, really chasing after in life is satisfaction.
Yep.
You want to feel satisfied at the end of the day,
Yep.
using up your energy doing the thing you love.
Yep.
Right?
Definitely.
When you're not in a good place, when you don't get to do the thing you love all day and you don't feel satisfied, frustration is what sets in for the generator.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay.
So we got generator, we got manifester. What's the other ones?
Okay. So we've got manifesting generators. Okay. Those are the people, they are generators. They're here to do the work that lights them up. But what's super cool about them, and I hate to couch them this way. I think they don't probably like this. I call them superhuman because they do everything faster and better than everybody else.
Ah.
Drives me bananas. And I can't seem to get away from human design manifesting generators because both of my parents are them. My husband is one. My older sister is one. And so a lifetime spent trying to keep up with these people who have not just a career, but like
energy.
numerous careers.
Right.
They have hobbies across the board. Like these are people who like, oh, I'm an accountant by day, but I have an Etsy shop online and I run a food truck on the weekend. Like
I know people like that though.
You know people like that. They're just a lot. And then and one of the things that what helps them to learn is like all those options we were talking about, like you can choose from all these things. Like they're both their I feel like their benefit and their downfall is that like they can do them all and they can get really, really good at them. But societally, culturally, we have this thing about like you got to finish what you started.
Right.
You got to stick with it to the bitter end. And these manifesting generators are yearning to just like let go and move on.
Right.
So they're here to be multi-passionate. They're here to be moving quickly through life. Master it, move on. Master it, move on. Let it go. Let the generator pick up where you left off and keep doing the work.
I mean, I feel like my chart is incorrect because now I feel like I'm a manifesting generator.
Do you have a bunch of hidden hobbies and
yes,
magic?
I do. I absolutely do. I do so many things all the time. I feel like we have to run my chart again.
Was your birth time accurate?
I don't know.
To the minute?
Yeah, okay, yes, it should have been. Uh-huh.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But sometimes my name is wrong because sometimes people don't put the right name.
I don't know that matters. You could put Mickey Mouse up there. It's as long as it's about where you were born.
If it's using numerology, then the name has to be correct.
It's not numerology.
Okay, so it doesn't have implements of numerology in it.
No.
Okay, cool.
But what I will tell you is that you have 4 what we call connected channels in your chart.
Okay, so what's a connected channel?
So you don't have it handy, do you? Because it's helpful to like look at it.
Can you email it to me?
Yeah.
Then I probably have it. I don't ever get rid of emails.
If you, I mean, I have like, I can look at a sample one. Let me see if I have yours in my.
No, we can just keep it. Let's keep it general. Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
But we can meet afterwards to talk about it. So,
yeah, because you don't.
What are the channels? Because I don't understand that.
So the channels are they're the lines that connect one shape to another.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a chart, there are 9 shapes, and those correspond to the chakra system. And there's 9 of them, and not 7, because this also has to deal with human evolution, and so
Mm-hmm.
it says we developed 2 more over the
I feel
course of
like we need to look at a chart. Do you have an example of one we can
right.
look at?
Yeah, I sure do.
If you
How
hit
about
the present button, then it'll allow you to show
okay.
your chart.
Let me grab mine because I don't mind sharing. Mine is all over the place. I put it on everything. So let me just there I am. I'm gonna pull it up. So yeah, there are 9 shapes, and then you'll see lots of numbers, and you'll see,
Okay.
of course. All right. Okay, here we go.
Take your time.
And I can hit present from somewhere here.
Yep. If you look down at the
Oh, I
bottom,
see it.
you see
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I got you. I got you. Okay. Share screen. Oh, where did it go? Here
Oh,
we
I
go.
found it. I found the one you sent me.
You found it. Okay.
Yep, I
All right.
did.
So you follow along, and
Yep.
okay. Are you seeing my
Yes, I can see it.
pass?
Oh no, I can't see your screen.
Okay. You cannot see my screen.
So did you hit present
Okay. I
and
did.
then select the what you want to present?
7,000 windows open. I'm so sorry.
Me too. I understand.
Here we go. Now I'm doing it. Technology is not my forte.
There it is.
Okay. All right. So you see how there are 9 shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Some of them are colored in, and others are not. And I'll zoom in here. So, for instance, up here in what we call the throat center, it's our
Mm-hmm.
center for manifestation and expression and communication. That 12, there's a 12 lit up, and it's purple, and it goes all the way down, turns gold, and it goes down to this is our emotions processing center, that
Mm-hmm.
triangle. And it's in particular, it's connected to the number 22. So 12, the 1222 channel of openness. Okay, that's one of my connected channels. The others where there are only numbers with the line poking out, like say that 21, that's called a gate, and it's not connected to any other energy center. And so you still have they each represent like a trait, an energetic trait.
Right.
That so okay so anyway, you have 4 of them surging through your body, and they are extraordinarily powerful. And so when you tell me that I'm going to stop sharing if that's okay, unless you have
Fine.
questions. But when you tell me that you feel like, maybe your chart sounds a lot like a manifesting generator, I look at the power surging through you, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of superpowers. And so those connected channels, what they represent are like, we can't stop Muffy from doing those things. And so you've got the channel of power, you've got the channel of struggle, you've got the channel of community, and the channel of preservation. And so these are things that, like, they're going to always be you, no matter who you try to be or
Right.
what
Right.
situation you're in. But
What's the channel of struggle? What does that mean? I got to struggle through some things.
you are someone who chooses, maybe not conscientiously, but you choose the hard way, because the easy way would be boring. You would be bored stiff. It's like being in a video game.
She's talking something. I'm telling y'all. She's saying something. She's saying it. She's telling the truth.
It's like playing a video game where if you were stuck in the first level forever, like, you would never play it anymore. You want the challenge. You want to go for it. The two attributes that combine to create that channel of struggle are the 28, which is the game player. Okay, the game player is like.
Wait a minute, Janine, because this is why I say you can't get around numerology. You can't get around it. Like, it's everywhere, because 28 is one of my numbers.
Okay. That's fascinating. Okay. The 28 corresponds with the I Ching. So this is the hexagrams of the I Ching. There are 64 of them. So those numbers that you see in your chart, there are 1 through 64.
Mm-hmm.
So the 28 is the 28th hexagram or gateway, um, which is called the game player. And um, that is the one that chooses things to be hard. Like you want it's fun to be challenged,
Mm-hmm.
and that connects all the way over into the root center to the 38, and the 38 is called the fighter, and the fighter is at the highest expression, because each of these is a spectrum of you can be the fighter in the best way possible, or you can be the fighter in the worst way possible.
Mm.
I have this one too, so we have some similarities in our chart. Even though I'm not a generator, I have this channel as well. The the fighter can either puff its chest out and pick fights with everybody if it's bored, or it can be like social justice warrior extraordinaire. Like, I'm going to stand up and fight for the little guy. I'm going to put my neck out there and put myself on the line for something that's right. I'm going to stand up for what's right. And so all of it, that's what's it's so fascinating to me, that every single element of the chart, the shapes themselves, the lines, the numbers, the arrows, everything is a spectrum where we can
Right.
either be vibrating and giving off and taking in energy in a high vibe kind of way, or in a low vibe kind of way.
Right.
And
Right.
so when you start your personal development journey looking at it through that lens, it's like, okay, one by one, let's go through each of these elements and see, am I in the low vibe? Am I languishing over here where I'm puffing my chest out and starting fights with people, which is what I did all through my childhood, and which is
Yeah, I did
which
that
is
when I was a kid. Definitely.
right,
When I was a kid, I
right.
was definitely down for the fight for any reason.
Yes, yes. And people don't love that. It's hard to grow up that way. It's hard to make friends and influence people when you're doing that. So we learn. Um, but yeah, so that's the real key to unlocking the potential of all that we came into these meat suits with in
Right.
this lifetime. Like, you can think about this as, if you want to get really, really spiritual about it, is that our spirit selves chose this toolbox to
Absolutely.
come in here with, and these are the lessons we're here to learn. And I wholeheartedly believe that each of us is here to raise consciousness, to become the next level better version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the roadmap, right? Here's the energetic imprint that we each have available to us. Imagine if we all leaned into the highest vibe
Right.
expression of all this stuff that's packed into our bodies,
And that's
right?
what I love about this information about human design, about astrology, numerology, and all of the things, is that sometimes as humans we'll say to ourselves, well, there is no blueprint. And that's correct. There's no blueprint for life. Like, no way to know how you will interpret the energies that are coming at you on a day-to-day basis. But you can be more attuned to what is in your toolbox, to what you actually have to work with, so that you can know when to walk away from a situation and say, you know what, I don't necessarily have the tools for that. So I'm going to allow, faith, the cosmos, universe, God to deal with that situation. But this over here, I can actively deal with. I can put myself in the middle of that ring and I can duke it out or become the peacemaker or whatever it is that your skill asset is. And I think oftentimes when we are so focused on traditional ways of understanding spirituality, we do not make room for understanding how big of a role we ourselves coming into this ethos play in how our lives end up. So I'm a believer in faith. You can't live without faith. You can't exist without understanding that you can't control everything. There is something greater at play. But then there is something to be said for understanding that you do have a role to play, and taking up space, like not being afraid to take up space in that role. And I think that's what tools like human design enable you to really take up as much space as you can, so that you can really work in collaboration with the universe versus like as a victim to it or as like a bystander. I want to play an active role in how my life plays out. I don't want to play a passive role. So, yeah, I love this information.
Amen to all that, what you just said. I mean, it's true, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think that if we could all if we could all be a little bit more open to that, we'd be in such better shape. But
Mm,
there's like a grand awakening happening right now, so I think it's fantastic. Um,
absolutely.
I didn't finish telling you the other types.
Yeah. So what type of, so we got generator,
Okay.
manifester, manifesting generator,
Yep. And then we have projectors, and
projector.
the projectors are our guides. They're really, really analytical. They have like a bird's eye view on life where they can
Mhm.
see what's wrong over here, what these people over here don't have access to this, and if only they could have this. They kind of guide the way to shine the light on what's wrong. Okay, and
Mm,
you might experience them as people who are correctors. They might suggest or advise with opinions, or they just have a way of seeing what's wrong. And so for them, the unique part is um, because other people can experience them as, I'm trying to be gentle here. My son is one, so
right.
I
I,
love my
I know what
projector
you
friends.
mean. Because me and projectors, we have a hard time.
Yeah, what they might not know is that their energy is best received when they kind of save their breath and don't necessarily, even though they are so there's like drawn to they're driven to shine their light on what's wrong. It's just like, uh, wait for it, wait to be asked to shine that light, let people know you're really good at it and you're really gifted and talented or skilled or knowledgeable in a particular area. And when they maybe need you to guide them, then switch that light on. Like I often think about them as like the ushers in a theater. Like
Mhm.
if you walk into a dark theater after the show has started, you need somebody to be
Right.
there to like put their flashlight on and show you to your seat. And that's the projector. Like, please show me to my seat. I'm banging around in the dark here. And then we ask them, we invite them, like, please give me your expertise. You're the one who can do this. I am stuck. I don't know how. But projectors tend to butt up against life, and they start having pushback and
Mm,
resistance when they're blathering their guidance all over the place, because the wrong people are getting it. Those people are then rejecting them. They're getting shut down for talking too much. They're yeah, they're people who, I'm getting distracted in my own mind because I have that in my chart, but also because I'm thinking of all the people that I've met who are projectors, and they will literally walk into a room and be like, that's unsafe. I'm not going over there. I'm
right,
avoiding that
right,
person. Like they just get the vibe immediately. They
right.
tend to have a lot of open energy centers. And so when you look at that chart, many of them are left blank. And that's because they
Ah,
are absorbing all kind
everything.
everything.
Oh,
And so when I'm in conversation, I've noticed, since I've become aware of all of this, when I'm in conversation with a person who's a projector, I tend to either feel profoundly seen, heard, and understood, because they have a way of penetrating others' auras and they really see inside you, or it can make me feel very vulnerable and very like, oh, that's too much, because they're shining their light right in my face and
it
they see
sounds
the
like
dark.
almost like Aquarian energy, like very Aquarian air
Okay. Okay.
energy is what
Well,
this.
it would be a combination of things. And so
Mhm.
and so that's interesting that you bring up the astrology piece. And so when we look at the Aquarius type zodiac sign, there are going to be like four oh my god, my math is terrible. Four finer shades of Aquarian
Mhm.
within that time span that it takes place in
Hmm.
January, whatever it is. Anyway, so
That's
that's
so
where human
interesting.
design can be a little bit more granular with
Right.
with astrology
Because it's
piece.
giving you
Um,
shades.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so
Mhm.
the projectors are here to guide the way forward and lead us along a safer path. Um,
Right.
and they're our guides, and they would do best to wait for the invitation to share their
Right.
genius. Don't waste your breath on people who are not going to appreciate you. They feel success. That's the one thing that they're after, that they just want to feel successful. They want to share their wisdom and be so appreciated for, and watch other people like take their advice. Oh, that's chef's kiss to them, right?
Right. Okay, who's next? Because we only
Okay.
got about 5 minutes left.
Okay, reflectors are the final energy type, and the reflectors are really rare. They're only 1% of the population, so
Hmm.
you will be it will be uncommon for you to come across one. But these are the people who you might think of as like the sage sitting on the mountaintop, looking down upon the land and just absorbing all of everything that the culture and community is experiencing and doing, and they're just kind of shaking their heads like, oh, these people.
It sounds like Jesus.
Yes, right. Um, they have no energy centers defined. And
Hmm.
when I say defined, I mean colored in. That's a term of art. So they have none of their energy centers will be colored in, although they do have some gates lit up. Some of the numbers are lit
Have
up.
you ever found one?
Yes, yes, my
Oh,
brother-in-law is one.
oh, wow.
Yes, and he was, in fact, that I was telling you that the first time I really this clicked for me, and I was listening to this podcast 3 times back to back over and over again to be like, whoa, 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 what is it? Before I even pulled my own chart, I pulled his, because it was like Thanksgiving weekend, and we were visiting family, and I was washing the dishes with my headphones on, and I turned around, and he was the only person there. I was like, dude, what's your birthday? What time were you born? And I pulled his chart before I pulled mine, and there it was, boom, reflector. I was like, what? This is crazy town. So he's been my go-to for years now, that I ask questions like, what does it feel like for this? Blah, blah, blah. These are the people that absorb and then reflect out whatever environment they're in. So when they're in the presence of, say, like a bunch of musicians, like they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to like, okay, say a band, say they're hanging around a band. These people are going to absorb their literally their talents and their attitudes, their lifestyle. They're going to absorb, and it's not to say that a reflector doesn't have their own energy or their own
Yeah,
personality.
but they're just like they're a free flowing conduit for energy.
Exactly. And then they reflect it back outward. And what's totally important for them beyond anything else is what environment they're in.
Hmm.
And they will know what's healthy for them when their bodies are healthy, because they're literally absorbing illnesses, um, toxicity
Experience.
from where they live. Um, I will use as an example, since my brother-in-law is one, like he's his job has taken him to live internationally, and he has had to move kind of frequently. And when he's in a place that's like vibrant and healthy and like, thriving, like he is great. He's like tan and buff and like having a great time in life. And when he's in really struggling places,
Right.
he's
Struggle.
unwell.
Right.
It's
Hmm.
wild. It's wild. They pick up languages and can seem like they're native to a culture, even if they're not. Um, Sandra Bullock is one,
Hmm.
and yeah, I have a whole store of famous people that are each of these, which are fascinating. So,
Right.
I'll tell you, since you're a generator, um, the generators that are famous are Oprah, Madonna, Elvis, Beyonce. Um, um, Einstein. No, 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 no. Yeah, no. Einstein was one. Mozart. They're like all these people who only need one name because you just know them, right?
I love it. I'm okay. So now I'm about to become a human design expert because I have to know more about this.
I'm not surprised, because another thing you and I share similarly is what's called your profile,
Hmm.
and this is getting into the weeds, but it's we are both a 1-3, which is an investigator experimenter. And so
Yes.
we are driven by the need to build a foundation of based on knowledge and information. So
Yep.
we're
All
people who
day.
read all the reviews and go down the rabbit holes.
Yep. All day. I will literally, if I didn't have anything to do today, I would probably spend the rest of my day looking this up on YouTube and buying books so that
Yes,
I can start studying it.
there are
And
loads of
literally,
resources and
yep.
amazing people to follow on Instagram that like
Hmm.
drip, little bits and pieces. So I'm one of them.
I
So
love this. And thank you for sharing this with us, Janine, because one of my, well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do in the next leg of my life, but I'm really hoping that it will sit pretty closely with like this spiritual information. And one of my goals is to make it more accessible to Black women because I feel like this is a part of, as women, I feel like this is a part of what we need to have access to in order to raise children that are self-aware. My numerologist, her saying is self-awareness is a superpower, and I truly believe that. I truly believe that when we understand who we are, like the ancient Egyptians comedians said, know thyself. When you understand yourself, you can understand a single grain of yourself and understand completely the world. So thank you for bringing this information to me, and thank you for the opportunity to share it with my community. I really, really appreciate that, and I don't take it lightly because this is. And thank you for your study because I know this stuff is not easy to study. You study it, you go down these rabbit holes, and then you're stuck on it for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, trying to figure something out. So yeah, I appreciate
thank
you.
thank you so much for inviting the conversation and for asking me to talk about it. It brings me
Mhm.
so it lights me up and it fills my
We
soul.
have to have you at Brown Mama's weekend in the wellness lounge. Yep, I'm gonna
Ooh,
reach out.
I
Yeah,
would love that.
so that way you could just be there, and if people have questions, they could ask. Yeah, we have
I
to. We have to.
readings all weekend, whatever. I'm there for it.
I would
I'm
love
here
to.
for
So
you.
I'm going to be emailing you about that so we can make sure we have a table for you because I would love to have you there so people can know more about human design because we need to be on this bandwagon because I'm like I said, it was surprising to me when I started seeing corporations and then I was like, oh, I need to know about this because people, if people are using it, that means it's useful. So I need to
Exactly.
know.
If people want, because I believe also that
Yes.
it needs to get out there.
What's your website? How can we reach you?
I'm JanineEllsworth.com, and I also publish a daily Substack. It's called the Daily Vibe, and it is we go through all of those 64 gates, one shade at a time, depending on what the energy coming from the sun that day.
Oh, you're
And
on
so,
Substack.
yeah, my Substack is called the Daily Vibe.
The Daily Dive.
Yeah, um,
Okay, I'm
and
gonna
if
follow you on there.
amazing, thank you. Yeah, it's free. It's bananas. Like I probably should charge for it, but I think it's so important to get it out there into the world. And in a way that people understand.
Right.
There's a lot of the language. If you do go down the rabbit hole and start trying to study this, a lot of the
Hindsight.
language is kind of hard to understand. So I'm trying to put it into terms that people can connect with, regular everyday people, moms like you and me.
Well, thank you, Janine. I
Appreciate
appreciate
you.
you. Thank you
I
for
appreciate.
spending this time with us. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you coming here.
I appreciate you so much. I've been like joyously cheering for you for years from way
Thank
over here. It's
you.
just so great to be in your orbit, spend time
Thank
with
you. And thank you because yes, Janine has I want to say Janine came to like one of my very first meetups and she's not a brown mama and she still showed up. She was like, I'm going and has just been a great supporter and I just really appreciate you, Janine.
you. Well, thanks for always bringing me into the fold. It's I
Well, we will continue. Clearly, we have similarly aligned paths. So I feel like we're probably going to end up working together in some capacity soon because I have to know more about this. So I'm going to be reaching out to you later today because I want you to actually, I found the whole email that you sent me and I'm like, I'm going to watch this video. I'm about to look at this chart and see what it is. So yeah, we need time together. But thank you.
anytime. I'm here for you, Muffy. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Thank you for sticking around for me and Janine's interview. If you want to know more about human design, you can visit her at JanineEllsworth.com. Janine is just such a kind soul. Like I said, I came across her years ago, and it's just been a blessing to know her. And I wouldn't know anything about human design had she not told me about it a few years back. And so I'm excited to get to know more about it and to hopefully explore that world with her. Y'all know I'm into all of the things spiritual. I'm always looking for new opportunities to really know and understand myself. And what I can say is, y'all know I've been very vocal about the fact that this last year or two has been very difficult for me. I feel like I'm going through I'm in the middle of a midlife crisis, and really oftentimes not understanding what I should be doing with my life, not necessarily understanding all the relationships that I've created. But this weekend, I think my lesson going forward to this weekend is that you really have to take out the time to understand not just yourself and your motivations, but how the universe has supported you throughout your life, and have gratitude for that. I had a really good girlfriend of mine. I had a good weekend, but it's been rough emotionally for me for probably the past, like I said, the past 2 years. And one of the moms that I've had the pleasure of fully experiencing through Brown Mamas reached out to me and just said, I'm checking on you. How are you doing? And I said, I'm okay, but I'm not doing that great. And so I went and met with her, and just had a really good opportunity to have a good conversation with her. And it made me realize that I have so many women around me who love me and appreciate me and check in on me. My sister is here this weekend. I appreciate her she's not even here for me, but she don't even know that she's here for me. Um, but I've kind of cultivated. For a while, I was thinking to myself, do I know how to do community? Do I even know what community is, as a woman who grew up with a single mom? My mom did not have a ton of support. We had a few close family members that loved on us, but we didn't really have a whole lot of support. And so for a long time, I was really questioning, do I even know what community is? Do I know how to do community, considering I don't feel like I grew up with a ton of community? But this weekend, I've really been challenged with flipping that script and having gratitude for the women who do show up for me, and remembering that there were women showing up for my mother. It didn't look like it looks on Instagram or Facebook. They didn't have like long flowy skirts out in Greece in front of the beach, but they were daggone sure checking on each other. They were babysitting each other's kids. If somebody needed something, they were there for them. And so I'm remembering today and every day, and I hope you'll remember this week, that community don't always look like you think it look. It looks like, I just had a tinge, so let me text Muffy and see if she's okay. It looks like I'm visiting for the weekend, so let me go spend time with my friend, even though I may not see her again for another 6 months. It looks like, I'm trying to think what else. It looks like I'm out at an event, and my good girlfriend pulls me to the side and has a conversation with me and just tells me what's going on in her life, and I can tell her what's going on in mine. So just remember that things are not always as they seem. You really have to take out the time to investigate your life, and don't come to quick conclusions, but really center yourself in what's real and not what you think things should be. All right, y'all, have a great week. I hope your Monday is awesome. I hope the rest of your week is even better. And one thing I do want to tell you is, just like Sister Tab said, if your week is not great, that's okay. But just don't make nobody else's bad. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Just don't make nobody else's bad. So have a great week, y'all. And I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.